On this coming Saturday, 26-year-old Alex Cohen will be marrying his fiancée here in the sleepy village of Stoke Poges. Yet this small hamlet on the outskirts of Slough was rudely awakened by an act of savagery the likes of which have never been seen before. On June the 14th, Mr. Cohen was enjoying a lively evening out, celebrating his stag night with 16 of his male friends. He doesn't remember what happened. The next morning he woke up naked except for a large baby's nappy and was chained to this lamppost. Mr. Cohen was unharmed, but things could have been very different. Slough now seems set to join Lockerbie and Dunblane as one of those places symbolic of man's great inhumanity towards man. And although it's too early to start apportioning the blame, I'm here in Slough to ask why? Who would do such a sick sort of thing?
Friends, maybe?
Do your friends do that to you, sir?
Some friends do, not mine, but somebody else's might.
Alex Cohen's friends?
Could be.
Supposing his cock had slipped out, what would happen then?
Depends on whether he likes it or not.
Do you like it, sir?
Well, under the right circumstances, with the right company, yes.
Would you like to have seen Alex Cohen's cock slip out?
No, I wouldn't, because I don't know the guy.
Do you ever consider doing this to anyone?
Not really, no.
You hesitate there for a second. Would you consider stripping someone naked and tying them to a lamppost as some sort of revenge attack?
No, it was revenge, maybe it was a laugh, maybe.
Not as revenge, but maybe as a laugh. How is that funny?
No.
Surely custard pies in the face and banana skins and falling on your ass is funny. Having your penis shown to old ladies isn't funny, is it?
No, probably not.
So, do you take back what you just said about it being a laugh?
Yeah.
Do you want to apologise for actually saying that, just in case anyone's seen that who's been involved in an incident?
Yeah.
Just say, I'm sorry for saying that it was a laugh.
I'm sorry for saying it's a laugh.
And I would never do that to anyone.
I would never do that to anyone.
Can you just do that all in one to the camera?
I'd never do that to anyone.
Mr. Cohen was a young man, so who better to talk to than Karen Brown, Slough Council's young person officer?
Last year there were no recorded incidents of this taking place. This year there's been one recorded incident of this taking place. That's an increase of one recorded incident of this taking place. Are those worrying figures for the youth of Slough?
I think so, and hopefully let's hope it's not going to be an epidemic.
If this does become an epidemic, one group who is good at helping those chained up is Amnesty International.
What do you think about the Alex Cohen case?
I can't say.
Alex Cohen was a 26-year-old man who was stripped and chained to a lamppost. Could Amnesty do anything to help him?
By whom?
Well, that's the thing, we don't know.
I mean, was this in Northern Ireland? Was this?
This was in Stoke Poges.
Sorry, I just don't know the case.
Okay, you don't think Amnesty could do anything to help someone who was stripped and chained to a lamppost?
By whom?
Well, that's the question, but no one knows exactly who's done it.
Well, and that would be the kind of case that we need to know a lot more information about.
In the search for that information, we approached Slough holy man, the Reverend David Meal, who certainly had a lot to say about making sure that people don't go homeless or jobless.
Making sure that people don't go homeless or jobless and so on.
It's interesting you should mention caring for others, because there was a story recently about Alex Cohen, who was tied to a lamppost, stripped and tied to a lamppost and left by his so-called friends. Do you see that as a sign of crumbling moral standards that are being eaten away by crumbling moral standard woodworms that eat moral standards? Do you see that as being the case?
Yeah, I mean, I think in any society, in any advanced society, there will always be elements within it who don't fit in, and sometimes we're glad of that. We're glad of the way that people don't fit in. I mean,
are you glad that he was stripped and tied to the lamppost?
What I'm saying is that we have. I think in a modern civilized society, we have to allow people to be on the extremes. So we're not going to make everybody conform and always behaving in a set way, and I think one of the dangers of that kind of freedom in a civilized society is that some people will abuse those freedoms and go off the rails.
Off the rails or off his face? Slough drugs counsellor Moira Lane made the narcotics lamppost connection painfully clear.
Do you think this could possibly been a drug deal gone wrong, being taped to a lamppost naked?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No.
And do you think he could have been on drugs? Is that the sort of thing you do if you're on drugs? I mean, I don't really know.
People do a lot of things under the influence of drugs. In my mind, in my own opinion, and obviously it's just my opinion, I would say it's high spirits.
Really?
But obviously I can't say...
So you don't think it was some tripped-out love rush type thing at all?
No, not at all.
With the drug link now established, the connection with organised crime was obvious. All roads led to Mr. Kwok.
Does this bear any of the hallmarks of a triad attack?
The home was
I think you know what I'm saying.
Mr. Kwok was obviously reluctant to discuss the triad connection, so the lamppost bondage villains still roam free.
Although the perpetrators of this horrific crime have yet to be apprehended, we've handed in our dossier to the police. This is Iain Lee reporting for the 11 o'clock show, Slough.